you're going to start practice one. You go to your practice one, go to the practice one folder. You click on it, then you open up the instructions. All right. Once we have the instructions open, you open up Adobe, you click on applications. And you look for Adobe Photoshop CS3. And click on this icon. When Adobe Photoshop opens, you'll see the name up in the upper left hand corner. Next, just close this window. You don't need it anymore. Hit the red button. Now you're going to activate Photoshop back again. Now you're going to follow the instructions. The instruction says File to New. You go to File to New. Make sure this says Photoshop up at the upper left hand corner, File to New. You title this as Practice 1 _ your last name. This section right here, name. Now you set up the size. You see the size on the instructions here that says 6:8. Your resolution 72. Your mode RGB and background transparent. Set the Photoshop width at 6, height 8, resolution 72. Make sure all those match. And then you hit OK. Next, we will set up the rulers and guidelines. You understand the rulers as inches. So we go to Photoshop to Preference, and then you will drop down to units and rulers. All right. Next, you will go and change the rulers from pixels to inches. All right. After you do that, then you hit OK. Notice that you have the rulers here. All right. Now, if you do not see your rulers, go up to the word that says View, and go to drop down list to rulers. It should be checked if your rulers are shown. If not, then you click it and it shows. Next, we'll pull out guidelines from the ruler. We have to use our move tool. Remember, your move tool is going to be one of the most used tools in Photoshop right now. So this is your move tool. And also Photoshop tells you what that tool is, move tool. Select it. Now right here, just put a right here on the ruler itself, pull a guideline out. Just like this, press down on the mouse and pull it out. Set it at 2 and set another one at 4. These are just guidelines. Next, you will select your tools. You're going to select in the tool palette your horizontal type tool, which looks like a T, a letter T, which is the letter T. You select that. If you don't have that, you select it by holding it down. Hold it down, hold the mouse down on it, and you can have these different types of text tools. We want the solid black one. Horizontal type tool. Select that. At the top, the font name. We're going to change that font to Impact. It's in there in ABC order, Impact. And we're going to change the point size to 48. And make the color orange. So we go here to this box right here and double click inside, select the orange looking color and hit OK. Now set the cursor in the middle. Just move the cursor in the middle of the working window. And type the words graphic in capital letters with capital G and the rest small. Now you want to center the word graphics. You have several ways, but we're going to do one easy way that you know how. Just select the move tool and move it in the center. Next, you're going to put a drop shadow on it. You go up to layer style, to drop shadow. Now in the distance on this interface, the distance, you can move it up to 8 or type in 8. I will type it in. Type in 8 in the distance. Alright. Next, you just select your bevel and emboss also. Select bevel and emboss, which is here. And then you can change that to the inner bevel, which is here. If it's not that, this drop down list right here, you can change it for inner to outer bevel anywhere, and it gives you different effects. Right now we want inner bevel. After you do that, then you click OK. Now, while the selection tool is still selected, if the horizontal type tool is not selected, click it, and then click in the middle again. No, don't do. It creates a new layer over here on your right. You see the new layer. Next, I want you to go up to the top and change the font to Lucida. If you do not have Lucida, get some sort of cursive writing. This is Lucida calligraphy. Next, you change the color to blue. Change the font color to blue. Double click and choose your blue range. Also, change the type of the font, the way it looks, to italic, which is selected, and change the make sure the point size is 48. Type the word designer. Once you type the word designer, select the move tool and center that right under graphics. Now once you put a drop shadow on a bevel and emboss, we go up to layer style to drop shadow. Alright, we have that. We can have the range of 8. Just slide it over with the slider. Also, click over here on bevel and emboss. Alright, this time you're going to select outer bevel. Change it to outer bevel from the drop down. After you do that, you notice how the design is highlighted. Then click OK. Now go to the layer palettes and we will close up some layers. We have to close the sub layers that are open, so you have to go to the layers and do this. Close this arrow, click on the arrows. Now in the layer palette, notice that the word designer is highlighted in blue. This is the active layer. As long as that layer is selected and the move tool is selected, I can move the word designer in the working window. So right now we're going to rotate the word designer. You go to, as long as this is activated, you go to edit, transform, transform to scale. correction, edit, transform to rotate. Rotate. And now you see the two-headed arrow, just rotate it counterclockwise.